you're probably never going to be understood as an artist. You see, the world ain't built for artists. We got our green tea today. But the tea bag kind of broke open, so all the leaves are in there, and a Catan mug. You know what I'm saying, fam? But anyway, in this video, I'm just going to talk about how hard it is as a creative in the modern world because, you know, as I said, it's not built for creatives. Like, we're expressive creatures, artists, and that doesn't really fit into the whole capitalist regime. It isn't where value is derived from in the modern world. So that's what I'm going to talk about, and I'm sure you'll get a bunch of value out of it. So let's jump in and get into it. Basically, if you're an artist or if you're someone that creates, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've potentially felt misunderstood your entire life. I mean, I can recall feeling misunderstood from preschool. I'm just like looking at the other kids being like, no, I'm different. Like, I'm different to other people. I've always identified as that. You know, people don't understand what I'm kind of trying to convey. They don't understand my point of view. They don't understand like what I'm trying to, you know, do and put out there into the world. And you know, it's definitely a curse, but also a blessing. Like, I wouldn't give it up for anything, you know. But definitely noticed early on, and you probably did as well if you're a creative person, that you are different to everyone else. And I've come to terms, you know, I'm almost 30 now, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm just not going to feel understood by the world around me. And that's okay. And I have to be okay with that, because the way I process my life experience and my emotions is by putting it out through art, right? By creating art based on my experiences, and that's how I kind of understand myself. It's like I'm sort of an antenna, and I'm receiving a signal and I'm outputting a signal, but the signal that I'm outputting is different to what I'm receiving because it's based on my input, but I can't just say what I'm feeling based on words. Do you ever feel like that? I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, and you know, in my early 20s and as I was creating, for a long time, I felt like I was just misunderstood. No one understood me. No one wanted to support me. There was a little bit of like, poor me, like, I'll show you what I can do, like a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. And, you know, as I've grown older, I've become more realistic in terms of like who I'm actually going to be, what I'm actually going to create, what I actually resonate with, where my values are. And if you're in your early 20s as a creator, you know, unless you're more mature than maybe the average person, you're going to come to terms with this as well. And you're going to start to understand what is valuable to you. Let me just turn the aircon down a touch because I'm using natural light here. It's just the sun beaming in through the studio. It's on my leg, you know. But yeah, you're no doubt going to feel misunderstood as well. But the sooner you can embrace this feeling and understand this, I think the more power you're going to have, because you can realize that you're playing a different game, right? And again, it kind of sucks because we're in this world that doesn't value creativity. They value money, right? And we're conditioned to believe money is the only source of value, and you must create more and produce more and sell more, and that's what creates more money, and that's the only thing of value. And that's a materialist game. And a lot of people play this materialist game over here. And it's really hard to break out of that mold. But if you can, you realize that that's not the right game to be playing. That game doesn't actually have value, you know, especially as a creative person. And you feel really odd about it because everyone's playing this materialist game. And they place value on material possessions because that creates status, and then your sense of self and your identity is propped up. But based on what? Like, none of this matters. We're all going to die. You know, I say it in most of my videos. But yeah, the sooner you can embrace this, the sooner you can realize that the game you're playing is actually over here. And you derive value from creating things, from expressing yourself through creativity, doing things like this. And you kind of feel a little existential when you are playing this game over here. Yesterday, I just spent $3,000 on this camera lens, right? I didn't need this lens at all. And the second I picked it up and put it in my car, I didn't even feel any excitement because it's a materialist thing. It's like, yes, is it exciting that I get to upgrade my camera gear, you know, film more things, create more things, whatever, for sure. But I didn't need it. I just convinced myself that I needed it, and I spent $3,000 on it. And now I'm just $3,000 poorer because I've got this lens. And like, sure, I'll use it a lot. But what I'm saying is, like, every time you get sucked into this materialist game over here, you think it's the right play. And then you play, you don't feel any different. If not, you feel worse. You're like, why did I just spend money on this thing that I didn't need to spend money on? So back to this game over here. when you are creating, when you're taking in experiences and transmitting them, like the antenna that I said before, that's where you realize the value is, And the value that you can transmit with that antenna as well is like, you're taking in information from the world, and you can kind of rejig that information and put it back out there in a way which is of immense value to other people. And that's an insane thing. And if you realize that you have any inkling of that skill and you hone that skill, that you can take things in and transmit them in a way which provides value to other people and also fulfills you along the way, that's magic right there. And I think that will become, because, you can't train AI on creativity like that. I mean, maybe you can, but I can't see that skill in particular being trained to a computer anytime in the near future. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. But that's amazing. And I think while we're in this world right now, which is capitalist driven and doesn't really reward creativity because it doesn't necessarily create value, this game is changing from what I can see anyway. And that's beautiful, because if you can recognize you're not playing this game, you're playing this game, and you hone every skill that you can to get better at this game, then when this game changes slightly and realize that it needs people that in this game, which is already happening. If you look around, the internet, everything that's happening right now, creators are low-key thriving. The platforms aren't built for us just yet. They're still built as corporations, and that's standard, right? But you are going to have so much more value in the modern world, but you have to realize that you're not playing that game. But to zoom out a little bit back to the kind of main point is that it's a little bit distressing knowing that you're not really understood, or at least you don't feel understood by everyone else. You don't feel like everyone gets the moves that you're making. You don't feel like you're making the right moves because everyone says, that's not going to work, Sonny. I don't know why everyone's always a 1920s old person, but, why are you following your dreams? That's not going to work. Why don't you go up the corporate ladder, young Sonny? So, and your name's Sonny as well, apparently. We're in the 1920s. I should put like a black and white filter on this, but I'm not going to, because we don't cut here, we don't edit. It's no frills. And if you like creative philosophy, you can subscribe if you want, because there's vibes here. And if you want your creative life dream plan, you can get that in the link in the bio. It's a cheeky little mini course, and it's super cheap. Anyway, if you can accept and embrace the fact that you are going to feel misunderstood, there's magic in that as well. Because the other thing is, your mind is eating away at you, telling you that you're doing the wrong things. And then you've got your mind telling you that it thinks other people are thinking the same thing. And then you might get actual real world feedback from people being like, but that's never going to work. And a bunch of these little pieces of evidence that your mind sees to tell you that you're not doing the right things. Let me tell you, you are doing the right things. And you know how you know is because of how you feel. So when you're creating things and you feel good, if that's not an indication you're doing the right things based on your genetics and how your brain and how your body is created, I don't know what is. Because if you sit and think about that for a second, as opposed to thinking about what you should be doing, because again, we're gonna die. And the best of both worlds is when you can take this creativity and monetize it, right? So there's a bunch of different pathways to go down to do that. But again, to zoom out, the whole point is like at the very beginning, you're going to feel as though you are not understood by the world, by your family, by your friends. And if you can accept this deeply, realize this doesn't matter. And the reason I'm repeating it so much is because it's so important. And you don't realize it's so important until it clicks for you one day and you go, damn, that doesn't matter at all. And I've been in my head about this for years, right? What tea are you drinking? And also, do you like Catan? Let me know. But yeah, there's immense value in just expelling everyone else's thoughts about what you're doing. And the earlier you can get onto this, the better it's going to be for you. Because it's really hard to just think that everyone else thinks that you're doing the wrong thing, or to think that you're taking the wrong path. But when you can embrace your true authentic self and create authentically based on what you know to be right for you, based on how you're going to feel, and you embrace that you're going to be misunderstood, people aren't going to get what you're doing. And that's, I'm burpee boy. And that's cool. That's sweet. That's amazing. then you hone that skill relentlessly and ignore everything else, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like, damn, I'm living my dream creative life. And that's what we're about here on Creative Philosophy. And let me tell you, the reason I'm telling you this is because I've done that, okay? And am I the richest person on the planet? No, okay? Am I the most famous musician or whatever on the planet? No. But that doesn't matter either. I get to create all day long, every day, all day, every day, long, whatever. And I get paid for it. And that's all that matters. I get to live my life. I don't have to be anything more than that. Anyway, hopefully you've gotten some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.